"Get out, you low life," Dad screamed. His voice cracked the way cheap glass does. Sharp, final, meant to cut. I remember the spit hitting my cheek more than the words, and the silence that followed. That was the real wound. Mom wouldn't even look at me. My duffel bag hung off my shoulder like dead weight. I could still smell the gun oil from the base on my hands, and all I'd done was tell them I enlisted. They called me a disgrace, a failure, a burden they were finally done carrying. I didn't argue. I just nodded once, stepped out into the night, and closed the door behind me like burying a corpse. Back then, they never asked what I planned to do with my life. They didn't know about the prototype in my locker, the algorithm scribbled on a crumpled MRE box, or the investors I'd been emailing during midnight watch shifts. They just saw a soldier. They never saw the engineer hiding underneath. But that's not where this story begins. I was standing barefoot on the marble floor of my Florida mansion, when the past finally decided to claw its way back. The view stretched across the coastline. The kind of horizon people spend their whole lives chasing. The kind of horizon you can only afford with a $38 million valuation. My phone buzzed. A voicemail from Dad. His voice cracked again. Age this time, not anger. "Son, can we talk? Something's happened." That something turned out to be bankruptcy. My parents had burned through their savings, their retirement, their dignity. Now the world they worshipped, status, reputation, a spotless front lawn, was collapsing all around them. And suddenly they remembered I existed. There was a time when Dad bragged about me, his smart kid, his future engineer. He used to hand me tools while he fixed the truck, pretending I was helping. He'd tell neighbors I was destined for brilliance, but the day I enlisted, the pride disappeared. He said the military was for people who had nothing else. That he was throwing my future away. He didn't know I joined to escape them, to escape him, to build something that was mine, not another extension of his ego. The betrayal wasn't one moment. It was a lifetime of being weighed, judged, dismissed. Dad didn't want reconciliation. He wanted a lifeline. He slipped once in a frantic call. "We just need a place to stay until things calm down." There just was the same word they used the night they kicked me out. Just leave. Just go. Just disappear. But the worst part was realizing they weren't embarrassed to ask. In their eyes I owed them. My success, something they never believed I'd achieve, was theirs to claim. Now that was when the old anger cooled into something sharper, cleaner, a blade, not a flame. I didn't tile. I didn't argue. I played the rollie off the polite son perfectly. "Of course," I said. "Fly down. I'll pick you up." They landed 2 days later, dragging suitcases like they were already moving gin. Mom hugged me like she hadn't spent a decade pretending I didn't exist. They took selfies in the airport. Caption: "Reconnecting with family, so grateful." I didn't correct them. I watched everything, noted every assumption, every entitled breath. They talked about waiting for a check I'd surely write us if I were a walking ATM with their last name on it. That's when the plan clicked together. Neat and simple. I wouldn't destroy them. I'd let them destroy themselves. I brought them to the mansion. Let them soak in the view. Let them believe they'd won. They walked through the halls like inspectors approving a property they secretly thought they deserved. Then I showed them the guest house. Technically a separate property, smaller, older, farther from the ocean, but still nicer than anything they'd ever owned. "This is where you'll stay," I said. They didn't notice the cameras, the recording devices, the legal notices on the kitchen table printed on plain paper to look insignificant. They didn't read the contract I had them sign. Said it was for liability. They signed without a blink. But it wasn't a liability form, it was a rental agreement. Market price 30 days. Non-payment constitutes immediate eviction by Florida law. They moved in, ate my food, used my pool, posted pictures pretending the mansion was theirs. They never paid a cent. It waited 30 days. I returned at dawn. The air was thick with ocean mist. I stood in their doorway the same way Dad once stood in mine. "Your month is up," I said. Dad blanked. "Month, son, we're staying until no," I cut in. "You sign a rental contract. You didn't pay that you're being evicted." Mom's face went pale. Dad's jaw clenched, searching for anger, but finding nothing to hold on to. You can't do this to us. I stepped closer, calm, soft, vengeful. You already did. I handed them the official notice, stamped, validated, irrefutable. Then I delivered the linen he gifted me years ago, polished, and returned like a debt finally paid. Get out, you lowlife. His breath stuttered. Silence again, this time my victory. They left that afternoon. Bags packed, pride crushed. No dramatic goodbye, no final apology, just two people finally realizing the bridge they burned had been carrying them all along. As I watched the car disappear down the driveway, I felt lighter, not triumphant, not spiteful, just free. They taught me to survive without them. I simply returned the lesson.